We camped at the KOA just at the base of Devil's Tower, a peaceful spot with an unbeatable view. From our site, the tower rises abruptly from the earth, impossible to ignore. We took the trail that loops around its base, an easy and beautiful walk that gives you a full sense of its massive presence from every angle. Along the trail, we saw colorful cloths and small bundles tied to tree branches, Native American prayer offerings. These are left as part of traditional spiritual practices, especially by Plains tribes who consider the tower sacred. They're not decorations, but acts of respect and devotion, symbols of requests, healing, or gratitude. Visitors are asked to leave them undisturbed.
That's a lot of rocks.
Devil's Tower was declared the very first national monument in the United States by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1906.
So we are taking a quick, not a break, we're just wanting to sit and enjoy the view. Actually, it's a very easy trail. A little hard to hold it steady, but that is our motorhome. It's the third one in, down there. Pretty cool.
Long before that, it had been a landmark for Native American tribes, explorers, and settlers, rising 867 feet from base to summit and visible for miles across the plains. It became a point of navigation, mystery, and eventually tourism. Geologically, Devil's Tower is what's known as an igneous intrusion. Around 50 million years ago, magma pushed up through layers of sedimentary rock but never reached the surface. Instead, it cooled slowly underground, forming the tower's distinctive vertical columns as it hardened. Over time, wind and water eroded the surrounding softer rock, leaving behind this massive volcanic core. Those dramatic columns, they're formed by contraction during cooling, creating one of the best examples of columnar joining in the world. It's a natural monument carved by deep time and erosion, and it remains one of the most striking geological features in North America. We often make new friends along the way, and that evening we spent time with Pete, Linda, Tom, and Icy, swapping travel tales and enjoying good company as we wrapped up our stay near Devil's Tower.
Deadwood, South Dakota's potentially charming town, but parking sucks. Too many people. Look at this. Gotta download an app. Took us about 10 minutes to find this place. Everything was roped off, keeping people from parking. All the roads are kept free. My genius wife is figuring it out, hopefully. But it was so much of a pain to park in a stupid little town. Kim and I parked the motorhome free elsewhere and came in to town to find a place to eat and walk around a little bit, which we're going to do. But I'll tell you something, yuck. Well, we confronted that. We're parked. So now we're in the 10 Saloon, or something, Saloon 10, 1876. And we're heading upstairs to grab a bite to eat, we hope. This is Custer Airport, where Brian and I landed back in the late 90s in our airplane. And we stayed here for several days, as I recall. But it's kind of neat to get back here and see it, and brings back memories. All right, so we are at the Wind Cave, and we have driven a long ways, and there's not much air coming out of this thing. But if you get your hand down, and you can, in fact, what's happening, and I'm starting to feel it getting a little bit more, perhaps. Yeah, we drove actually quite a few miles to get down here because I wanted Kim to see this. And my memory was that it was a hole that you could get to easily. I don't remember this thing around it. And it blew like a mother, but right now we're actually in between blow and suck, I think, is where we are right now. I think it's interesting that we are in Custer State Park, South Dakota. Now here's a guy, George Armstrong Custer, who led his men and himself into total oblivion because of a total miscalculation of the situation at hand. And so what do? In the United States? We make him a hero. We name a park after him and a city after him. I find that quite interesting.
Driving the Needles section of Highway 87, also known as 16A, in Custer State Park is one of the most memorable road experiences in the Black Hills. Twisting through pine forests and narrow granite spires, this stretch of road isn't just a drive, it's a slow-motion glide through ancient geology. Custer State Park itself is one of the crown jewels of South Dakota. Encompassing over 70,000 acres, it's home to free-roaming bison herds, mountain lakes, and miles of scenic roads like the Needles Highway. The park was named after Lieutenant Colonel George Custer and established in 1919, making it South Dakota's oldest state park. The Needles section gets its name from the towering granite pinnacles that line the route, jagged formations that resemble, quite literally, the eye of a needle. Formed over 1 billion years ago, this granite was pushed up from deep within the Earth's crust, then sculpted by wind, water, and ice into the dramatic shapes we see today. Some of the spires are over 30 feet tall and only a few feet wide, creating a surreal vertical landscape unlike anywhere else. One of the most unforgettable parts of the drive is passing through the single-lane tunnels carved directly into the granite. The most famous, Needles Eye Tunnel, is barely wide enough for one vehicle at a time, with jagged rock walls just inches away on either side. It's a tight squeeze, but an exhilarating one, especially as the towering spires loom above. We took our time, stopping at pullouts to take in the views and appreciate how unusual this landscape really is. The sense of scale, the silence between the stone walls, and the way the road seems to wind impossibly through such terrain makes the Needles Highway feel almost otherworldly. And there's more to come. Another portion of this route, closer to Mount Rushmore, awaits us tomorrow. It's a continuation of this rugged beauty, with more tunnels, more granite, and more of that sense of awe that defines the Black Hills.
This is one of the roads you probably won't take the minivan or the
smart car up. No. We rent Broncos or Jeeps almost every trip, just to go out and do stuff like this.
Go around.
Yeah. So they filmed portions of how the West was won in here.
Yep. There's a scene in there where the buffalo were overrunning a wagon train. And, so that was one of the scenes that was filmed here. They have horns. The females have horns, but they're only about 2 inches long. The males have a much longer black horn. It has a little prong out in front that they use for fighting. Now right now they're in one of their bachelor groups too. They smoke cigars and play cards too.
And waiting for the calendar to change.
Yep. Your buddies are back over the other way. So you can see that black mark on the side of his cheek. And she's been having calves every year. She's a good breeder. We like her. She's got good DNA. She's going to stay here. We immediately let her out into the pasture. If it's a cow that hasn't had a calf in a couple of years, she's probably going to be out of here. They have a bedroom, a nursery for the little guys. They have a kitchen where they keep all their extra food.
And they pretty well operate blindly, I guess, under the ground. They by feel, smell.
They also have a bathroom down there. They also have other visitors down there, like rattlesnakes, black-footed ferrets, burrowing owls. Interesting sky. stay interesting over there. Hubs they'd use for glue, tendons they'd use for rope. They might stitch up a hide and then stuff it full of bison hair, and that would be their mattress. So off to the right, you can kind of tell why they call this the Pahasapa. That's Lakota for hills of black, the Black Hills.
You can see it. Yeah, the Black Forest in Germany has a look to it, like that, dark.
That's the Bison Center.
Oh, okay, that's where we were. Gotcha.
So give you, and we were down on those roads down there. 60 miles off to the right is the Badlands. And let's see if I can see Mount Coolidge from down here. I think so. Florida deer and Wisconsin deer. They're the same critter, but Wisconsin deer are much bigger than Florida deer. Here's one. He's got a bunch of dirt on his face because he's been playing in the mud. The Wisconsin deer have to eat all year round. Or, I mean, they have to bulk up for the winter. The Florida deer get to eat all year round, so they don't have to get as big.
Right, that makes sense.
So this is a cow. She has a much thinner brown head. The males have a larger black head. Everybody has horns. She can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. And this one walking back here, that one's about a year old. So when you see a calf up here, you'll get a better idea of how much they can grow in a year.
Wow.
That's a bull. He was born last year.
So at this point, it's really not known if he's going to be one of the guys that gets escorted off the property or not.
No, next year.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks pretty good size. So they'll pick out 10 of them, and they get a third brand, 0 through 9, so that we can just easily look at them and say, yep, that's one that wants to stay here. Now we do have more bulls than that, but
So that's the number of new allotments then.
every year we add 10.
That makes sense.
Because the older animals, bulls can live, I think our oldest bull last year was about 15 years old. But as they get older, their teeth get worn down and they can't eat enough food to sustain a healthy weight. So they start thinning up and getting sick. Now we don't have predators here. Yellowstone has wolf and bear, and so they would take out some of the older animals.
Yeah, they're having some fun.
Yeah, right up ahead of us.
Oh, they're gonna get some humping practice here, I guess.
That's a dominance play.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that calf was born this year. He's probably an April baby, and the other one was born last year. And so they're deciding.
And you could tell that by the size, right? Kind
Yep.
of? Yep, that's very cool.
And then a brand also.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But also by size.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah, you're not quite so tough, eh?
Actually, that's a little bull calf, and this is a female. See, there's a lot of testosterone in the air right now.
Yep.
And, so those hormones on both sides are going crazy. So these guys are a year old.
And you can tell that by the 4 on them, is that what it is? Or
That-
yeah.
And just knowing the size of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I lied. That one's a 3.
Yep, I see them, yeah.
Sure.
Sure,
We
not
had
a
a
problem.
million stories.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back in 1868, we had the Laramie Treaty with the Lakota.
Right.
And this was their land until the grass would stop growing, which is going to be never. So they asked permission if the Army could come in and map out the area. And Little Bighorn was actually over in Wyoming. There weren't any battles here at all. So the Army asked if they could come in and map out the area, and they said, yeah, that's not a problem. So they sent General Custer with 1,000 men and 100 wagons pulled by oxen. And they went hunting and fishing and camping all along French Creek. And just kind of paying attention to the road here.
Yeah, top priority.
It's kind of foggy. And they had a geologist with them that found a little bit of gold. And the newspaper man that was tagging along, he started writing articles back east about, there's gold in them areas. So in the timeline, that was after the California gold rush. Kansas had had a drought for 4 or 5 years. It was after the Civil War and there was a major depression going on. So you had a lot of very desperate people in the country and they all started heading west. Now when they come into this area, the Army would stop them and say, nope, sorry, this is Lakota territory, can't come in here. And there was a group called the Gordon Party that they were a little sneakier. They managed to get past the Army and they built a stockade fence and they put 6 cabins on the inside of it. They were here over the winter for about 4 months, panning for gold. Did not find much. Most of it was found up in Deadwood, and it was underground. And the Army did find them, however, and kicked them out, but people kept coming. Before you know it, we've got 10,000 people in what's now the city of Custer. And year-round residents now, we only have 2,000. But it was one of the big stopping points just before you got to Deadwood, lost all your money. And so they decided they needed a name, and they took a vote. And they were choosing between Stonewall for Stonewall Jackson, who was a Confederate general in the Civil War, and General Custer, who was a big war hero for the North. Most historians give him credit for turning the tide at Gettysburg. And had the North not won the battle at Gettysburg, there's a good chance we'd be 2 countries right now. So apparently we had more Northern veterans than Southern, and it became the city of Custer, and later
Good morning. It is, we're still in Keystone, South Dakota. We'll be here today. We're going to go see Crazy Horse and do the Iron Mountain Highway, and then tonight we'll be doing the whole Mount Rushmore thing. But look how clear it is. Of course, she's in her jacket. I'm in my jacket, but we are anticipating this is about the last time we're going to see these jackets on. We believe we are moving into some pretty warm weather that'll be basically following us back home. So we'll be probably pushing the hell out of our air conditioner. Hopefully we'll be able to maintain some degree of comfort in there. So there it is. But it's a beautiful, beautiful day just after a front came by. So we just paid our money to go in and see Crazy Horse. We're not going to be able to get real close to it, evidently. But we'll get close enough we can see the face. And they got a real nice multimedia display in there. So that's absolutely stunning. Look at that. I didn't even know they did that.
Now if you go up on top of the mountain to your far right, you'll see what is Crazy Horse's left hand with his index finger pointing out above his thumb. Newest work that was unveiled at the 75th year celebration on June 4th of 2023. Now just under his thumb, go a little to the right from there. On the top of the mountain, you will see 3 to 4 giant squares cut out there. That is where they have started up work over the past month and a half on the top of the horse's mane. Also, they have been working on Crazy Horse's shoulders and doing some finishing detail work on those fingers and up underneath the index finger. Now not only will they be able to utilize the crane to outreach their boom to get them out to pretty much everywhere else they need to carve, but also to pick up the equipment and move it much more efficiently. And we are awaiting the arrival of a robotic arm, very similar to one you see in automotive factories, full-on CNC programmable. They'll be able to program it, hit go, step back, and watch it go to town. Starting on the right, going to the left, you'll see his pinky finger curled up, ring finger, middle finger, and then of course his index finger pointing straight out.
All right, so pick it up. Pick up what you want. That's the one you're going to get right there. You just put it down there.
Oh, I did. I was
Yeah, that's the
getting
one
my
right there?
hands free. I think, because
Alrighty.
and then the guy with the card that goes with it.
So we have adopted it.
We adopted the rock.
We're passing through the last tunnel closest to Mount Rushmore, Doane Robinson Tunnel. It was intentionally aligned to frame the monument perfectly, offering a dramatic reveal as you drive through and the faces of Mount Rushmore appear straight ahead.
So we came here in the evening in order to see their evening show, which should be quite patriotic. So we're actually here at Mount Rushmore, kind of after hours. We're here for the evening event, so those lights not great. But this is a pretty astounding walkway they've constructed back here in the back.
There's a walkway that leads you surprisingly close to the base of Mount Rushmore. It's called the Presidential Trail. It winds through pine trees and granite outcrops, offering changing angles and a real sense of scale as you approach the monument. Mount Rushmore itself was sculpted between 1927 and 1941 by Gutzon Borglum and his team, carving the faces of Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln into the granite of the Black Hills. Up close, you can appreciate the detail in the carving and the sheer size of each face, about 60 feet tall. The trail has stairs and viewing platforms, bringing you close enough to see the chisel marks and the effort it took to shape a mountain into history.